Hey everyone, it's me, Thomas Murphy Cosplay, and today we will be looking at my Red Eyes Black Dragon deck profile. So let's release the Red Eyes.
So last month I did a video of my Red Eyes deck profile before, and I honestly thought that I was satisfied with what I did with it until I realized that I can do a lot better. Well, a bit better actually. Um, but one of the things that I did that was a bit of a con with my Red Eyes deck is that I finally slimmed down the deck anyway, so instead of it being a 60 card deck, I did it 50. Not perfect, not ideal, still not ideal, but it's better than 60, so I'll give it that. Anyways, we're for the deck, we're running 3 copies of Red Eyes Black Dragon, is obvious. Because what's a Red Eyes deck without the original level 7 normal Red Eyes Black Dragon? 3 copies of Red Eyes Black Meteor Dragon. That's actually a pretty important card to play, especially for fusion summoning and Xyz summoning. Because when you fusion summon with this card, and it's in your graveyard, you can actually banish this if your fusion summon monster is destroyed. You can banish this card and add a Red Eyes fusion, so you can make another fusion summon. And also that when you summon it by sending a normal monster who's levels 5 or higher, it actually can increase a level by 1. So you can use it for both fusion summoning your Meteor Black Comet Dragon, which we will get to that later, or you can actually use it to Xyz summon another one of my favorite Red Eyes monsters, Red Eyes Flare Metal Dragon, which we will get to that soon. So, yeah, pretty cool. And it's it's just a really fun card to use, and it's very, very useful. So while it's in the graveyard, you can banish it and, yeah, make a new fusion monster. I run 3 copies of Black Metal Dragon. Black Metal Dragon is both a monster that you can also equip it to, and when this is sent to the graveyard, you can add any Red Eyes card you want. So it doesn't matter if it's a spell, trap, or monster, you can actually add it. So when this leaves the field, say by destroyed, or using it for link materials, or anything like that, or when it's destroyed while the monster that it's equipped to is destroyed as well, you can still use it as a really good search. So, yeah, and when this is equipped to a to any of your Red Eyes cards, its attack is boosted by 600, so that's actually really nice to have. 2 copies of Dark Magician, as obviously. We're using that for Dark Dragoon, so, which is not a surprise, as obvious. And of course, I did mention before that this Dark Magician belonged to my older brother many years ago. Now, I'm running 2 copies of Red Eyes Alternative Black Dragon. This is another card that you can also use to bring out with Black Metal Dragon if you want, and also helps you with any kind of bricked situation. So if you got, say, another one of your Red Eyes Dragons in your hand, and it's sitting there in your hand and you can't get rid of it, and you want to summon a monster, grab this, summon tribute, or send the any Red Eyes monster from the deck to the hand to the graveyard, and summon this instantly. I normally use this if I want to Xyz summon as well, just like Red Eyes Black Meteor Dragon. but you can use it for fusion summoning if you want. I run 2 copies of Red Eyes Black Flare Dragon. I know that not many people are a huge fan of Gemini's. I don't usually use its Gemini effect, but it does have a pretty good Gemini effect anyway. But I just use it as an extra level 7 Red Eyes Dragon if I want, for, say, fusion summoning or Xyz summoning if I want. And other things that I could use it for. I play 1 copy of Flameveil Guard. Now, I only have 1 Synchro Monster, and that is it. 1 Synchro Monster, obviously, because that's Stardust Dragon, and we'll get to that later soon, okay? So, keep in mind. 1 copy of Blackstone of Legend. Another card that I could use to summon out, say, one of your Red Eyes Black Dragons, or one of your Red Eyes Black Flare Dragons if I want. So you can use that, and while this is in the graveyard, you can add it back to your hand and shuffle a level 7 or lower Red Eyes monster. So that's really good. 1 copy of Gearfried, the Red Eyes Ironite, which goes really well for your Black Metal Dragon. So you can just equip it to Gearfried, destroy a spell and trap card, and then summon out a Red Eyes Black Dragon if I want to. And since I've would have used Black Metal Dragon's effect to be sent to the graveyard while being equipped to Gearfried, I could actually summon out a card, grab out any Red Eyes card I want. 1 copy of Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon. This card is a really important card to have on the field, because while it's there once per turn, you can summon any dragon monster you want in your graveyard. So it's actually really, really good to have for, well, almost any dragon type deck anyway, especially dark attributed dragon decks. And I run 1 copy of Lord of the Red, which Lord of the Red is a really, really good card. I know it's not a dark attribute, it's a fire attribute, which is kind of odd, but at the same time it kind of makes sense for some Red Eyes cards to be fire attributed, but yeah, nah, it's still alright. Even though that it is not searchable by Black Metal Dragon, at least its ritual spell is. So I'll give it that anyways. And during either player's turn when a card effect has been activated, that also triggers the effect of wanting to destroy any random card my opponent has on the field. So yeah, you could destroy a spell or trap card or pendulum scale. It's actually very useful to do. Anyways, let's get on to hand traps. So for hand traps, I run 3 copies of Ash Blossom. Now, Ash Blossom basically negates the effect of adding a card from the deck to your hand, or sending a card from the deck to the graveyard, or special summoning a card from the deck anyway. I also run 3 copies of Dark Honest. Basically is a bit like Honest, but for dark attributes. And instead of your monster gaining attack points, your opponent loses the attack points. So the monster that's attacking loses the attack points, and it just crashes into it, to any dark monster you have. I run 2 copies of Ghost Ballet Haunted Mansion. It's a bit like Ash Blossom, but instead of from the deck, it's from the graveyard. So can't shuffle a card from a from your graveyard to the deck, or special summon from the graveyard. So that's what Ghost Ballet Haunted Mansion does. I play Ghost Mourner Moonlight Chill. Basically that you can discard this card when a card's been special summoned, negates the activation, and when it's sent to the graveyard on the same turn, your opponent loses the life points equal to that monster that was negated by this card's effect. Really, really awesome card to play. And I'm so glad that I got a couple of these anyway. And for the last hand trap, I play Infinite Impairments. I don't know really how to pronounce it. Basically, target one face-up monster your opponent control and negate its effect. And you can also play this card while it's in your hand if you don't have any cards on the field. Well, if you're not controlling anything, you can just send it to the graveyard. There you go. So, that's all for hand traps. And, yeah, let's get on to spell cards. For spell cards, I run 3 copies of Red Eyes Fusion. It is obviously the Fusion spell cards for your Red Eyes cards. And it's both good and bad. 2 good things about it, but 1 bad thing about it. So it's kind of a 2 out of 3 card, really, as I could say. 2 good things is that you can actually fusion summon a monster using fusion materials from your deck, so not just from your hand or field. So that's a awesome thing, which actually saves you the trouble of grabbing the fusion materials from the hand or deck or field. But yeah, you can also use it from the deck, as I said. The second good thing is that the fusion summoned Red Eyes monster name becomes Red Eyes Black Dragon, which goes really well for the next spell card we'll be looking at. But the biggest downfall, which is what I don't like about this card, is the fact that when you play this card, you can't summon anything else. You're locked for the entire turn you play this card. But yeah, with the fact that you'd play this card and its fusion and the fusion summoned Red Eyes fusion monster's name becomes Red Eyes Black Dragon, goes really well with Inferno Fire Blast. Inferno Fire Blast basically target one Red Eyes Black Dragon and inflict damage equal to the original attack points. So I normally use this for my Meteor Black Comet Dragon, which we'll get to that soon. Which obviously you probably know what it is, because it's my favorite Red Eyes fusion dragon, besides Dragoon. Speaking of spellcasters as well, when I mentioned Dragoon, I run 2 copies of Dragon Revival Rasfidi. I also use this since I do have Link monsters that are spellcasters. Well, most of my spellcaster monsters are in the extra deck, so it doesn't really affect much with my Red Eyes deck, even though that obviously have the 2 Dark Magicians, but those I instantly throw them in the graveyard for the Red Eyes fusion spell. Another good thing about Inferno Fire Blast, I forgot to tell you that you can actually use it more than once, but that Red Eyes Black Dragon that I used Inferno Fire Blast with cannot attack, because it's already been locked up with this. So you can't attack and use the spell card at the same time. Yeah. So Dragon Revival Rasfidi is like a double Monster Reborn, but you need a spellcaster monster on the field to play this spell card anyways. So you play this, and then you'd can summon either 1 or 2 Dragon-type monsters. You can only summon 2 if one of the monsters that you're going to summon is a normal type. Well, a normal monster. I run 2 copies of Cards of the Redstone. It is basically your Pot of Greed for your Red Eyes or your trade-ins, since trade-ins only work for level 4 Dragon-type monsters, not level 7. But a little downfall that I had with this card is that, just like Red Eyes Fusion, it is a once per turn card. So I'm not a fan of the once per turn thing, really, because it kind of locks up. It just feels really restrictive. I understand it, but it still feels restricting. But yeah, just play this, discard your level 7 Red Eyes Dragon, and then draw 2 cards. I play 1 copy of Red Eyes Insight. It's basically both a Foolish Burial and a Search at the same time. So you could play this and then search for your Red Eyes Fusion, or another spell card that I have, I forgot to show you, is Red Eyes Transmigration. Red Eyes Transmigration is, of course, for your Lord of the Red, but it is also searchable by Red Eyes Insight, just like how Black Metal Dragon makes most of your Red Eyes cards searchable. Another fusion spell card that I have is Claw of Hermos, which obviously for your Red Eyes Black Dragon Sword. I play 1 copy of 1-for-1 since I play a decent amount of level 1 monsters, such as Black Metal Dragon, Flameveil Guard, and Blackstoner Legend. Now, I forgot to mention one more hand trap that I got. Sorry, I got my tongue in knots. Is Called by the Grave, which when your opponent uses a hand trap, you play this and stop your opponent from playing that hand trap. So basically, or you could just basically banish a card from the graveyard. I run 1 copy of Raigeki, basically destroy all cards on the field, and you could just swing for game, or use it if my opponent has a monster that cannot be destroyed by battle, or don't have anything strong enough. I run 1 copy of Wingbeat of Giant Dragons, which you can use this, grab one of your level 7 Red Eyes Dragons. And a little combo that I did before that was pretty funny is that I used Wingbeat of Giant Dragons, then I played Cards of the Redstone as well, so you could just go destroy all cards on all spell and traps on the field, and then Pot of Greed it, which is pretty funny. I run, not one. God, I sound like Elmer Fudd there. I run 1 copy of Silver's Cry. God, I feel like crying. 1 copy of Silver's Cry. Just in case if I'm just 1 level 7 Red Eyes monster short, with needing to Xyz summon or Synchro summon, which I mostly Xyz summon in this deck, so I only have 1 Synchro, which we'll get to that later. And I run 1 copy of Monster Reborn, basically special summon a monster from either player's graveyard. I normally use this for Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragons. It's my most important monster to have on the field. And that's it for spell cards. Thank you. We'll get on to extra deck now. For extra deck monsters, I run 1 copy of Relinquished Anima. What you need for link materials is just 1 level 1 monster. No tokens allowed, sorry, but my Red Eyes does not require tokens. But the good thing about it is that it pairs really well with Black Metal Dragon, because when I summon it on the field, I can't really do much unless it's been sent to the graveyard. So if I don't have Gearfried the Red Eyes Iron Knight, you can actually play this, tribute it, and link summon Relinquished Anima. And Relinquished Anima is a really good card on its own. I also use it for the Black Metal Dragon tribute to grab any Red Eyes card from the deck anyways. But another thing that you could use with Relinquished Anima is the spell card Dragon Revival Rasfidi, which is what I mentioned before. So when you summon this, you can go Dragon Revival Rasfidi and summon two of your Dragon-type monsters as well, since this card is a spellcaster. So it actually goes pretty well with your Red Eyes deck, especially when you have a bunch of level 1 monsters. I would say that, well, I did want to put in Spirit with Eyes of Blue, but this deck strictly relies on Dark Attribute cards. So, no lights allowed, sorry. Speaking of Dark Attributes, I run 1 copy of Wee Witch's Apprentice, one of my favourite Link monsters. This card basically, when this is on the field, all dark monsters gain 500 attack points, but all light monsters lose 400 attack points. Another thing about Relinquished Anima is that the link arrow, whatever it's pointing to, it can take control of it as well. But yeah, that's another thing I forgot to mention about it, is that you can take control of any monster when its link arrow is pointing to a monster. Anyways, Wee Witch's Apprentice, as I said, gives all dark monsters 500, but all light monsters lose 400, which is why I don't use light attribute cards, because this would get in the way. Cool thing about it is that when this card is sent to the graveyard by being destroyed, you can add whatever dark attribute monster you want. Next, I run 1 copy of Nightmare Phoenix, which is a Link monster that can MST. 1 copy of Deco Talker, one of my favourite Link monsters. Well, it's always been my favourite. 1 copy of number 11 Big Eye, which is another spellcaster that I could use Dragon Revival Rasfidi, besides Wee Witch's Apprentice and Relinquished Anima. And it is just like your Galaxy Eyes Cypher Dragon, but for level 7s. So it actually pairs really well for your Red Eyes deck. You play this and take control of any monster you want by detaching an Xyz material. So it's actually really cool. But the downfall, which is not that bad as well as the other downfalls that I had, is that this card cannot attack when when you are taking control of a monster. But it's not a bad thing at all. I run 2 copies of Red Eyes Flare Metal Dragon, my number 1 favorite Xyz monster ever. This is like, okay, this is a card that you definitely need to play on your first turn, especially when someone would do a lot of chaining and would basically be triggering a ton of card effects. Because every time when your opponent breathes or activates a card effect, they lose 500 life points. That's insane. And you can detach one Xyz material and summon out either your Red Eyes Black Flare Dragon or your normal Red Eyes Black Dragon. Really, really awesome. I run one copy of Stardust Dragon. As I said earlier, yeah, I do have one Flame Veil Guard, and that's what I use Flame Veil Guard for, is to make Stardust Dragon, because not all of my monsters are immune to destruction effects. So, yeah, and plus, it's a very easy card to play since you got a 1-for-1 searchable to bring out Flame Veil Guard, and you're normally summoning a level 7 Red Eyes card anyway on the field. So you could just tune Flame Veil Guard with Red Eyes Black Dragon and create Stardust Dragon. And Stardust Dragon is basically tributes itself when your opponent activates a card effect that would destroy any of your monsters. Really cool card to have anyway. So, and it's pretty easy to summon since it's a level 8 monster, and I have a bunch of level 1s and a bunch of level 7s. And now, let's finally get on to fusions. I run one copy of Red Eyes Black Dragon Sword, which gives any of your monsters a Buster Blader effect by gaining 500 attack points for every dragon in the field or graveyard. And I actually like using this with Lord of the Red, because of the fact that this card, during either player's turn when a card effect has been activated, you can instant destroy any card on the field. So playing Red Eyes Black Dragon Sword, and the fact that you'll be doing a lot of summoning and a lot of sending dragons to the graveyard or special summoning dragons on the field, this triggers Red Eyes Black Dragon Sword's effect, and that also triggers Lord of the Red's effect. So really good combo, so you could do both gaining attack points and destroying cards on the field, which is actually really awesome to do. I run 2 copies of Red Eyes Dark Dragoon, which is why I have 2 Dark Magicians for 2 Dark Dragoons, as obviously. Which is basically a meta card that a lot of Dark Magician decks now do use a lot, as well as Shining Sarcophagus cards. I've seen a few people use this card in a Shining Sarcophagus deck, so not just a Dark Magician deck, since you could use the Gandora G monster, and you could use this for Dark Magician, with a Dark Magician deck to use, say, Super Polymerization, or they would have run a Red Eyes Black Dragon in their deck. So a really cool card, basically instant destroy any card, and the opponent loses the attack points equal to the monster that got destroyed by Dragoon's effect, which is absolutely broken. And also you can discard one card and negate and destroy, so that's another really cool effect that it could do. I run 2 copies of Meteor Black Comet Dragon. That's a really good boss monster to play besides Dark Dragoon and Flare Metal Dragon. When this card is fusion summoned, you can send any Red Eyes card from the hand or deck to the graveyard and inflict half the life point damage. It is a little bit restrictive, but it is not that bad. I'm basically used with that as well, since I've been using that card for years. But it's a really good thing to, say, Foolish Burial your Darkness Metal Dragon, and you can Monster Reborn it later. And also, the fusion materials that I'm using for Meteor Black Comet Dragon is my Red Eyes Black Meteor Dragon. Since you'd instantly send it to the graveyard, and when Meteor Black Comet Dragon's been destroyed, you can summon out a normal monster, so any normal monster you want. Like, say, one of your level 7 Red Eyes Black Dragons, or your Black Flare Dragon, which is actually really cool. And later on, say, after when this is destroyed, you can grab out a new fusion monster. While your Red Eyes Black Meteor Dragon's in the graveyard, you can banish your Black Meteor Dragon, so you can add a Red Eyes fusion, so you can make Dragoon if you want. And also the fact that it's a 3500 attack point monster, you can use, that's when you'd use Inferno Fire Blast due to the effects of Red Eyes fusions, since this card's name changes into Red Eyes Black Dragon, and you could just FTK if you want, if you're lucky enough to grab your 2 copies of Inferno Fire Blast. Oops, nearly knocked the camera. Anyways, that's all for my... trying to make it nice and neat. That is all for my Red Eyes deck profile. I'm glad that you like it, and yeah, so it is a little bit more improved. It's better than what I did to my deck last month. But, yeah. I'm actually very happy with what I did with it, and yeah, I'll see you next time, and feel free to comment and tell me about what you think of it anyway. Is it good? Is it bad? Could it go better? I don't mind, really. Yeah. I'll see you later, and I will catch you next time. And, of course, for coming up soon, I'm actually working on, for real, a Blue Eyes deck, and I'm working on a Dark Magician deck as well. So, I will be showing these sometime in the future. So, yeah. I'll see you later. Thank you.